Good morning, Copenhagen, Denmark, and today we are headed to Roskilde on a day trip. We're gonna see the Viking Ship Museum. We're gonna see a beautiful cathedral where a bunch of royals are buried at, and this is all thanks to one of my subscribers that was like, yo, you should leave Copenhagen because Denmark is more than just Copenhagen. But first, we have to catch the train. This is probably like the most comfortable seats I have ever been on a train. A 30-minute train journey. Y'all know I love train stations, and their train station, if you come to the outside and you see the entrance of it, it is beautiful, but we have a 10-minute walk to the cathedral. After finding a place to sit down, I figured I might as well read this guidebook that they gave me. And I learned that this is where the royals are buried at in Denmark, and it happened since the 15th century. Looking up, I could see the famous impressive organ with over 8,000 pipes. It seems like every church in Europe tries to have some altarpiece that is just stunning, made of gold, silver, ivory, something. And I feel like this one is so precious just because during the Reformation in the 1500s, the church had to give up a lot, and they tried to hold on to it. So I think that's what's important here with getting this altarpiece that was donated by the king. If you come to this church, you do have to make sure you see Queen Margaret I. And she is the queen that brought together the Kalmar Union, forming the kingdoms of Denmark, Sweden, and Norway all together. There is a clock in there from the 1400s where St. George is killing a dragon, and you can look up and you can hear the skrill of the dragon being killed, and then also the bell going off. So make sure you don't miss that. It happens every hour on the hour. In the 50s, here in Denmark, they had received news that there were shipwrecks around Roskilde, and they started excavating all these ships in the 50s/60s and restoring them and bringing them back. And you gotta have to think, for over 1,000 years, no one has the talent or the experience to actually put these ships together, even how the Vikings sailed back then. So the fact that they were able to come this far is just a testament to the Danes and everyone that worked on this project. It's just crazy to think that they were building ships like this, AD 800, like, wow. Now this kind of reminds me of the Vasa Museum in Stockholm, Sweden, but just that they're on this scale, seeing these kinds of ships, because you don't always need a fancy ship, but just the Vikings were really doing a lot out here, going to so many different places in these small boats. I just can't believe that these ships took people to the New World, took them to Newfoundland, took them to Greenland. Like, yes, the Vikings, they were there before other Europeans were there. Because we all know the Native Americans were in America first. But wow, this type of ship took them there. And I like how the Viking Museum has literally a great view like this. So we made it to one of the oldest open-air museums in the world, and I believe this one opened in 1897, and it's a little bit north of Copenhagen. And they gave me this map, and there's 75 different locations, but the reason why this place was created to show the way that the Danes lived back in the old days. This is crazy. This house is from the 18th century and was restored in the early 1900s. And like, you can really smell that this place, like this building is real. Oh, this looks like a spinning wheel. This is an old fire pump from the 1700s. And that's just crazy. This is from a town not too far from Roskilde, Denmark, where we were at earlier. With that fire hose though, in Denmark, every town and village had to have their own fire hose, their own fire station essentially, and they had to make sure that they kept the pumps and the tanks, everything in working order. This is one of my favorite things in old kitchens, is this stove right here. And then you have the copper pots. If you have one of those in your house still, your cottage, whatever, make sure you keep it. That mill right there is the only thing that's in its original place. All these other buildings, like this one, were brought in, like I said, from other places in Denmark. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about Denmark, especially this open air museum. But I really just want to make sure that I show y'all other parts of the world, like here in Denmark, not just Copenhagen, but different places that still have meaning and character for that country. I don't want to just show you guys just Paris, France, Nice, France, New York City, but I want to show you guys the Roskilde. I want to show you guys Aarhus. I want to show y'all all these different places in the world. I don't know where I'm headed to next, but I know the next place for sure is going to be somewhere here in Denmark. So hit that subscribe button because I know I want y'all there with me. Until the meantime, watch this video right here to see more of Denmark.
Coming.